What's up, guys? This is Hardy from Digital Painting Studio. Developing art skills is hard. It can take years, it can be frustrating, and it can feel more like a chore than the fun, self-expressive relaxation experience that it's supposed to be. So today, let's chat about navigating that, how to get better at art, how not to quit. So mindsets and philosophies that I've collected over the years, but also some actionable, real steps that you can take. And these are some things that continue to have huge impacts in my own development. And a lot of these come from observations that I've made as an art mentor. There just seems to be certain things that really successful art students all seem to be doing in common. So let's try to lift the lessons out of that. And I'm going to try to keep this as fluff-free as possible. I'll try very hard to avoid platitudes like, don't give up on your dreams, but don't give up on your dreams. Okay, when evaluating how best to learn art and improve quickly, the first question that we usually ask ourselves is, should I go to art school? Is it possible to get really good without it? Well, let's look at this from a self-teaching angle, because I think the line of art school or no art school is a little blurrier than we might think when it comes to actual real learning. When those real moments of gaining skills and knowledge, when you're really getting command over something, I think it's always self-teaching. And here's what I mean. You can sit through 4 years of university lectures and you can take amazing notes. You can really participate. Or on the other side, you can watch 10 hours of art YouTube a day. But the real moment when all of that information actually becomes your knowledge, your skill, those moments are going to occur when it's just you at your desk, probably way late at night, messing around with a project, and suddenly it will just click. Oh, now I get it. Value edge control, it really works. It's like you can be told something and you can even believe it, you can write it down and think you know it, but until you actually figure it out for yourself, it will be purely academic. So the first takeaway today is we learn to do by doing. Real steps forward mostly seem to happen when you have these late night epiphanies that make you realize that thing you heard years ago was true. You just had to discover it again for yourself. And now that lesson, that skill, is really yours forever. So we have to find a way to set ourselves up to make those epiphanies happen. So let's talk about consistency. Now, seeing meaningful improvement in your art takes time. There's really no way around that. We can't matrix the information into our brain. It has to be your hand holding the tool, going through the motions over and over again, or you simply won't see progress. And to use that gym metaphor, you can join a gym, you can buy a whole room of workout equipment, but you're never going to get in better shape if you don't use them. But life is busy. Everybody has jobs, bills, family, and relationships to maintain. So how do we magically create these extra practice hours while keeping the wheels of life turning? For that, we have a time-honored little life hack. You simply carve some space out of your weekly schedule for some sacrosanct art time. Distraction-free time that belongs to you and your art and no one else. And maybe just an hour a day where you can just be totally dialed in. But you have to really commit to this. It can't feel optional. And you have to make sure that the times that you choose are something that can be respected by the people in your life. So, your friends have to know that you're not available to come hang out during these hours, or, sorry, you can't bother mom or dad now, they're working. And look, I know this is a hard ask. You're likely already tired after work, or if you're a parent, after getting your kids to sleep. and you probably just want to, relax, watch Netflix, play video games. But even the busiest people can usually find a 1-hour gap in their schedule. So try and think through your day, see where that might be for you, and really try and nail that down for your art. Now, you've probably heard that one before. Committing hours, really committing to learning something, that's not a new idea. But I have a flip side to this that I think is just as important. So artists who feel strongly motivated to improve quickly, like really intense, eager artists who want to do it, they actually have a tendency to way overdo it. So make sure to have time blocks in your week where art is specifically not allowed. For me, that is the weekend. And unplugging, just kind of getting your brain out of art and just taking a break is critical, and not just to avoid burnout. You actually learn more effectively when you mix consistency in your practice time with consistency of your break time. It's like those pauses between active learning sessions. It lets the new information, the new muscle memory in your hand, really file itself away neatly in your brain. You end up learning more quickly and more meaningfully than if you just go all out all the time. So, consistency of practice time and consistency of rest. Next, let's talk about the idea of perfection. Now, artists, and I am talking about myself too here, we are neurotic. We live in our heads, I think, way more than most people. And when we think about the long-term arc of our development as artists, it can be really easy to think of the ultimate goal, the top of the mountain, as a state of perfection. Like one day, I will be so skillful and so knowledgeable that I'll be able to paint anything perfectly. The internet will just explode every time I post something, and I'll be turning away job offers from AAA companies. Well, here's something that you definitely already know, but that we all still need to hear. There is no perfection in art. No day will come when you are just done getting better at art. It's this never-ending journey. And actually, can you imagine how horrifying it would be if you ever reached the end of art? Like, sorry, you have reached maximum level, try something else now? It would be terrible. So instead, let's do something that leads to a much healthier learning headspace. Embrace imperfection. There's a Japanese philosophy called wabi-sabi, which centers around finding the beauty in imperfect and impermanent things. I really like that. It helps me keep my work loose to think that way. It keeps things expressive. And in fact, I've noticed that most of my art idols, their work is just a mess of brushstrokes. It's the farthest thing from perfection, but it's awesome. So the takeaway, the thing you can actually use in your own development from this, is when you are practicing art, make sure that you are just practicing for you. Practice work has permission to be ugly. The most meaningful, valuable piece of art that you ever create might be one that you never want to show anyone. It's just this ugly exercise where you had a breakthrough. So don't paint for the internet. Don't paint for likes. Paint with the specific goal of taking one step forward for yourself. Get 1% better today. And that idea of challenging yourself brings us to the comfort zone. Here's the main thing behind this. If your art isn't changing, it probably isn't growing. And this is hard, especially when you reach a certain skill level and things start feeling like they're finally working for you. It's like you decide, I've arrived, I'm done. And that makes you immediately take your foot off the gas. It makes you stop stretching and experimenting. And that's why so many artists plateau. They kind of end up in this middle zone and they feel like they've reached some ceiling that they can't break through. This is maybe the most common concern I get when mentoring another artist. Something like, my work is good, but I don't feel like I'm getting better, and I don't think I'm ever going to reach pro level skills. So, when you feel stuck, it's time to blow it all up. Try another approach, try another tool, a new technique, a new teacher, something to just get you out of the rut that you have worn down by sticking with the same formula for too long. And this piece of advice is really hard for me. This is the hardest one for me to practice what I preach, because I like my work. And honestly, I've been doing this for a while now, and sometimes I just want to stay in this nice, comfy box that I have built for myself. I don't feel like taking it all apart and learning a new way forward. But every time I just get over myself long enough to try something new, like a new brush setting, a new tool, or like working from light to dark instead of dark to light, I almost always love the results and I learn something new that has lasting value. I always wonder, why didn't I do this years ago? And the final point I'll leave you with is huge: support and accountability. Learning entirely on your own just isn't as fast or as effective. And many artists are real introverts. We prefer our private inner worlds, which can lead into these lone wolf learning mentalities. And that's totally fine. You're going to spend lots of hours with just yourself when you choose the art path. But it shouldn't be entirely on your own. Try to find a small and trusted group to give you constructive but honest feedback on your work. As the awesome art YouTuber Kelsey Rodriguez put it, find some art friends who will lovingly rip your works to shreds rather than just seeking out empty compliments. This group also keeps you accountable, right? It motivates you to get the work done. Makes you stick to your plan because you don't want to let anyone down. Most of us are all too willing to let ourselves down, but if a friend is counting on us, we deliver. So use that. I hope you find a few of these helpful. These things really made a big difference for me. I'll be back again soon with a new video, but in the meantime, good luck with your artwork. Paint something cool today.